Call the meeting to order at 7:08. Sorry for the delay. And I will ask Bruce to take the roll call, please.
All right. Ned Stachin,
Here.
Robert Eisner, David Fox,
Here.
Richard Berlandi, Daniel Popovic,
Here.
Andre Simons, Mark Simpson,
Here.
Elena Carveth,
Here.
Francis Roth. Sorry. All right, so he's not in either.
So Andre's not on yet?
Uh, um, Lance just took my phone. He's talking to him now. He's
Okay,
walking
all right.
to it, so you all set?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Hello, apologies. My link seemed to be broken.
Okay. All right. All right, Chair.
Okay. Call the meeting. I did call the meeting to order for Wednesday, March 18th, Inland Wetlands Commission. The first item on the agenda is Noble Energy Real Estate Holdings at 8261 Feeneman Road. Is the applicant present?
Yes. Yes, present.
Do you want to give us some background or any additions or changes you've addressed from concerns from the first meeting?
Yeah, I can take that. We were holding off on making any revisions until we had the site walk based on previous conversations in order to address all concerns at the same time. And now that we've had the site walk this past weekend, we're hoping to see if there are any other questions or concerns from the commission.
Okay. For the record, I did the site walk with Bruce yesterday because I couldn't make the Sunday meeting. And he told me we walked basically the same path that the group did on Sunday. All right. Well, I guess I'll pull I'm sorry. We'll have to seat both alternates. So I'm going to be seating both Elena, and Frank Roth.
Nope. Frank isn't in, so just
Oh,
Elena. So want to put her in for Rich
sure.
Berlani? All right.
Okay. Uh, was Daniel here?
Yes.
I am.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So, I'll start with Dave because I know he went to the meeting on Sunday. So, Dave, do you have any concerns or questions that you want to raise as a result of the field meeting? Dave Fox?
He's here. Did we lose him? Dave, are you there?
Okay. Maybe he just got away. Um,
Come back.
let's go to Andre. Do you have any questions you want to ask at this time?
Yes, while I was not able to actually walk the site, unfortunately, I did review the minutes from the site walk, and I just kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts on the vernal pool and what you might want to do with it. I understand you want to remediate it to another area, but would you be willing to consider anything else with that vernal pool, just as a curiosity question?
So we're not impacting directly the vernal pool. When we walked the site, we staked out for the parking lot behind the warehouse for the tractor trailers. That was the closest point to the vernal pool, and it was, I believe, about 100 feet away from the vernal pool itself. And the wall along that rear drive, I believe the closest point was 130 feet roughly to the vernal pool. So we're not going to directly impact the vernal pool.
Okay, that's the only question I had.
Can I ask a question on that, please? I I thought I guess it's still debatable, but it certainly looked like a vernal pool. Both the one that's right behind the restaurant and the one where you're gonna put the driveway entrance right through the vernal pool. Um, you you're you don't have any thoughts as to whether those areas can be avoided or rerouted?
So I'll see I see Bill Kenny is on from William Kenny Associates for soil scientist. Um, however, the two wetland pockets the one near Fieneman Road and the one near Slater Road were not deemed vernal pools based on their wetlands report. The only vernal pool was within the larger wetlands pocket to the southwest a bit of our
Mhm.
development, and then there was another one even further away.
Is it the size that makes them consider it not a vernal pool? Because I mean, it's nowhere near as big as the other ones, but I don't know. I know
Right,
we just had a lot of rain and whatnot, but it looked pretty, like a good sized pool there.
right. Uh, I can speak to that. Good evening. I'm Bill Kenny. I'm the principal of William Kenny Associates in Fairfield, Connecticut. I'm a professional wetland scientist, soil scientist, and landscape architect. Um, we took a look at that, and for a number of reasons, we determined that that was not a suitable pool for vernal pool species for amphibians such as wood frogs or spotted salamanders. One of the primary reasons is, and something that we're really excited to help fix, is that there's a significant amount of stormwater that comes directly off the road and discharges right to that pool that's adjacent to Fieneman, and that is creating a significant water quality impact to that resource. And so we would not expect that those species would be able to tolerate the conditions that occur with with that. The pool is right up against the road. Typically, a healthy pool has no has forested habitat within 100 feet. And here that pool is immediately adjacent to the road, and several hundred feet of roadway drains down and discharges right to that. So that area is being severely impacted by that. And then the other area to the east, by the road to the east, that just doesn't sustain the amount of water that's needed to support the breeding and development of those amphibians.
Okay. Andre, have any other questions?
Is any of the factoring for those not being considered vernal pools just the human impact of that stormwater and everything, or is it the size? I just kind of want to understand that point.
It the northwestern area, uh, a pool of that size that was isolated in a very protected area with a lot of forest surrounding it on all sides would be able to. I certainly could support vernal pool breeding, but it has to do with its location immediately adjacent to the road and really how that road runoff just discharges directly into it.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Okay.
Chair,
Yep.
Chair, I hate to interrupt. Frank Roth just signed in. So if
Oh,
you want
okay.
to you want to seat him in place of Robert Eisner?
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you. Good.
Okay. Dave Fox, are you on?
Yeah, I'm back and I can see
Okay.
you guys again. Um, on that vernal pool question, I thought it during the last meeting and even again on the walk, there was some discussion of just making sure that those two were not vernal pools by taking a quick look later in the spring when it's more appropriate. And it couldn't hurt, is my opinion. And also on the walk, we had discussed the closest vernal pool that probably is a vernal pool. And I think you guys are proceeding under the assumption that those two are real vernal pools. And there was some discussion of it being worthwhile to investigate the closer one to see if there were salamanders in it, on the theory that a vernal pool with salamanders is more important than one with just frogs. I was wondering if you guys are still going to go through with that plan.
We could certainly do that. We have assessed this and reviewed it and made recommendations for mitigation with we took a worst case scenario and assumed that south of the development there are two pool areas within wetlands that we think is a good chance that they are vernal pools, functioning vernal pools, and so we assumed that they were with the review that we completed, but we certainly could go out there and check in the coming weeks. But our assessment that we think the project can be completed in such a way that those areas will not be impacted, particularly because of the substantial amount of forests that's associated with those areas, and the willingness of the applicant to put that large area into a conservation easement and protect that forest area that's associated with that and concentrate the development just at the north end of the property on a relatively small area compared to the rest of the property.
And at the last meeting, I suggested it would be a good idea as part of that assessment to look at the 100 and the 750-foot circles around both of those vernal pools, excuse me, and have a calculation of how much habitat exists there now and how much habitat would exist as a result of your plans within those two areas on a percentage basis.
Sure. We could provide that information.
That would be good. Thank you.
Okay.
And another thing about the vernal pools, I was wondering about the type of curbing that's going to be used on the south of the truck parking area, which is really quite close to the wetlands, and having some curbing that would prevent at least salamanders, if there are any, from getting onto the parking lot. And I'm not sure how high you would have to have a curb to stop a frog. Something more than just a normal curb, I would think, might be a good idea.
Something that rises up above the grade. Yeah, I think that's a very good idea. We want to dissuade those animals from moving into that developed area.
Yeah, it's not like if you were trying to get them across the road, maybe they might make it, but
Yeah.
not going to exist in that area. I had a question about at the stormwater outlet, in the very southwest corner there. That's right up next to the flood zone. I looked on the flood map, and it's one of these flood zones that doesn't have an elevation associated with it. And I was wondering how, the invert from that outfall, how confident are we that that is below the 100-year flood level, or above the 100-year flood level, I should say.
Correct. So yes, as you said, this FEMA flood zone does not have a base flood elevation established. We were in discussions with about where we believe the 100-year flood level could be. And we believe that where we have positioned this system with its invert should be clear of that. However, we can certainly take another look and confirm that that's the case.
I think Bruce and his engineers might be interested in that too.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, on the hydrodynamic separators. We had a project recently on Brickyard Road that they had hydrodynamic separators, but they were also putting a filter skirt around the outlets to trap hydrocarbons. And particularly for the one that's going to be draining the truck parking area, I would think something like that would be beneficial.
If you don't mind, I'll jump in. Taylor, just to clarify, what they're talking about is we had some of these areas we've used some of those catch basin filters. If you've ever seen them, it's almost like a silt
Okay.
sack. There's
Yeah.
various manufacturers, and it's a silt sack type material that helps absorb any kind of hydrocarbons before they get into the system itself. It's like a double check.
Mhm.
So
Okay. So you're talking about in the catch basin before the hydro separator you're talking about.
usually, yes, exactly. Those
Okay.
catch basins, you'll pick a few of the catch basins where you
Mhm.
like I think what he's saying, like here down in this parking area where all these tractor
Yep.
trailers are parking, they have a
Hmm.
little drip, little oils. They'll
Hmm.
wash into that catch basins, grab them at the filter, and the filters just get pulled out and they just get replaced.
Okay. That's something we can certainly look at.
And I guess my last question is about the warehouse. What kind of contents do you anticipate? Any hazardous materials within that structure, which is right next to the wetlands?
And that's to be determined. We've had some initial discussions with some potential tenants in that building, but those tenants wouldn't have hazardous waste, but we don't have one right now, so I can't tell you for sure.
I think it'd be important to have plans for spill control, response, and all of that in the event that you do have a tenant
Yeah, we can have a condition for that as well.
along those lines. That's it for me for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, wait, one last thing I just forgot. Um, the erosion control plan calls out for a silt fence with hay bales. We usually like to see straw wattles.
Okay. Would you prefer the wattle?
In general, I think that's what we usually prefer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we use it. It all depends on the site. We've usually used the straw wattles on a flatter site. If we get up to a steeper area, some of these areas, if we do have a lot of fill, very, very close to the straw wattle, then I
Mhm.
would probably suggest the hay bale because that's a little more a larger barrier than the silt sock because that's too small and the fill can just fall right over that fill. So
Mhm.
it's kind of a mix and match thing.
Okay. We can certainly look at the areas where it would be more grading and look at using that, sticking with the hay bale or looking at the wattles where that may make more sense.
Thanks again.
Okay. Uh, Dan Popovic,
I don't have any additional that wasn't already covered on the sidewalk.
okay. Mark Simpson,
I didn't attend either site walk, but my only question would be um, the vernal pools being 100 feet away. That's kind of the circle area that you want to have. Um, but maybe the truck parking area is not um, within the 100-foot range. But I assume there would be some type of artificial lighting associated with that parking, and that I would like to know how far would that lighting would cover into the wetlands area, which would then penetrate that 100-foot radius. Artificial light for vernal pools are not beneficial. They're actually probably more to impact the breeding of the animals traveling within that area and everything. I'm worried about things like, insects being attracted to the lights. Maybe there's the insects that the breeding pool uses to feed the larvas and stuff like that. So I would like to hear how far those lights will be projected into that area beyond where the parking area is.
Sure. It looks like Bruce has pulled up the lighting plan there. Now all this is going to be downlit at the parking area at the back here, and I'm having a hard time seeing, but it looks like just beyond the parking lot is where we're dropping down to zero point 0.1 foot candles at the back side of the parking lot there, and it's all zero before the wetlands. It looks like. So we'll be, you know, we shouldn't be lighting the wetlands in any way.
Let's see, there's,
At this time, that's the only other question I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ilana.
Hi, yes. So, as someone who has spent a lot of time studying vernal pools and working in vernal pools after the site visit, I have no reason to believe that the vernal pool near the truck parking area is not a functional vernal pool. I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't be functioning as amphibian habitat. But my main concern is that during the initial meeting in February, a fellow commissioner had brought up that 100% of the 100-foot vernal pool envelope needs to be conserved. Reading the applicant's proposed wetland F&V assessment, that paper references the MCA technical paper of the best development practices for conserving vernal pool breeding amphibians, and which they use to make the claim that only 75% of the vernal pool envelope needs to be conserved. However, this is not what the paper actually says. That the recommended guideline is 100% of the 100-foot buffer and 75% of the critical upland habitat. So my concern is that the following proposed mitigation efforts are based on misinterpreted guidelines.
I'll speak to that. Thank you, and I agree with what you said. I apologize if we misstated something in our report, but I want to say we referenced the potential for 25% disturbance, but that is not what is proposed with this project. That the 100-foot area would continue to be a naturalized area. And what I believe we were trying to reference in the report was that the report, in addition to having those guidelines where they recommend 100% undisturbed or naturalized woodland habitat, it also recognizes that when you have a high quality vernal pool, because it has a classification system for tier 1, 2, 3, with tier 1 being the highest. It does acknowledge in that classification system that you can have vernal pool envelopes with up to 25% development within that envelope and still have a high quality pool. So we were just that was the intent of that statement, was to say that within the studies that were completed to support that publication, they were finding very high quality high functioning pools with up to 25% developed area. But I agree, the guidelines in in a perfect world, you'd like to keep that vernal pool envelope 100% undeveloped. And that's what this project is proposing, 100% undeveloped.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Good question. Frank?
No questions at this time. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Um, well, just to the commission, we should really try to vote tonight on what was it? What was
Significant activity? Is that what you're asking
yeah,
for? Okay.
yeah. What I was so just to keep that in mind. But my general comment on this project is that um I think it's a reasonable project. I just think it's trying to do too much in that little area, and the size of the development is really putting it right up at like that wall up. That's a long wall. It's up against right up against the wetland area. The we looked at the two stakes, and that right against right at the top of the slope for the swale that is was flowing very it had a very good flow to it yesterday, and that all that water in that swale is going down to Batterson Park Pond. And I just think that, with the tractor trailer parking area and, the big warehouse, I think we're trying to fit too much into this project. I really think I think the applicant should reconsider and maybe just do the truck gas, the convenience store, and the restaurant, and I mean, there's other places to put that warehouse. I noticed the Noble gas station right behind it. There's a good sized lot for sale there. Um, I don't know. I just think, and I don't know if anybody else on the commission agrees with me, but I think we've several of us have been talking about that. We're just trying to get too much onto this lot and still try and protect the wetland areas. And I think if we could give ourselves a little more distance off the edges of the wetland, if we didn't try and do the gas, the car gasoline, the tractor trailer, diesel, the convenience store, the restaurant, and a big warehouse that, you know, I think this would be a lot more appropriate of a project if we just downsize it a little bit. But that's my opinion. But let me ask everybody I want to talk to the density of the development in regards to this on the commission. No?
I'll kind of echo what you were saying. And when I did my review of the minutes for that site walk, that was kind of the reason I asked the question I did, was because I was concerned about the distance from the vernal pool. So I mean, I don't know if it's specifically the fact of the matter of there being a warehouse. It might just be the size of the warehouse. I feel like it's able to be pulled back just, maybe 50 feet. I don't know what would be a little bit more of a comfortable measurement, I would say, for everybody, but that would kind of be my positing on it.
Okay.
I
Anybody
also
else?
I also agree with you, Ned, and I agree with Commissioner Simons. I also think that the parking area for the trucks around the warehouse, I think if that's downsized, or if the warehouse wasn't there, that it would give a lot more buffer area for the vernal pool. It would also decrease the amount of impervious surface on the site, which would be beneficial to all the wetlands.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. All right.
I agree with everyone here. It's a super ambitious project in terms of filling the entire site with pavement and buildings right up to the edge of the wetlands. I did have one question, too. Um, the entrance
All
from
right.
the entrance from Slater Road. Um, if you got rid of that, and you would not have that road at the bottom half of the bottom part of the parcel, and you would achieve more separation from the wetlands. Is the entrance from Slater Road a necessity?
So, I'll just speak on just the overall site circulation within the property itself. You'd likely still have that drive behind the refueling station, the convenience store there. That would be for the delivery of the fuel to the station. So that road would still need to be behind the station itself.
Okay, thanks.
But I guess my feeling is that if you didn't have the warehouse, you could push the convenience store, maybe spread out the gasoline uh, pumps, and not have to, build less of a wall and not have it go right up to the edge of the wetlands limit, the wetland limits. I'm just thinking. Because all this is upland of the lower area, and when we walk back to um, the edge of the larger vernal pool, uh, it seems like when the water gets high there, that water does find its way over, to the swale, and then again that swale carries the water through the culvert and into Madison Park Pond, and I just think that if we could increase some of the distances to the edge away from the edge of the wetlands, it would help protect the area. But let's continue on. So we had this. We accepted the application. We had the site walk. Now we'll need to determine significance. I do think that this is based on the density and as close as it's coming to the wetlands, that this is a significant project. And I think we should have a public hearing for it. But does anybody else want to speak to the significance before, and then I'll ask for a motion on
I
whether this,
also think that it's a significant activity, and I would be more than happy to make that motion.
okay, anybody else want to speak to it?
Um, I would say it's very significant, and I'll second that motion.
Okay. So just for details, Andre, you said you would make that motion, so why don't you make that motion?
So moved.
Okay. And Dave Fox, the second?
So second.
Okay. So there's a motion and that's been made and seconded that this is a significant event and that we should have a public hearing. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Wait, did I just lose? Hello?
No, everyone's here.
Okay, all right. Opposed, abstain? All right, motion passes. Um,
You
so
want me to-
what's, do you want to
want me to
help?
You want me to
I'm
jump
sorry.
in at this point?
Yeah,
Chair? All right, so as it
Set
said
the
in the
schedule.
agenda, as it says in the agenda review, all right, we've got 65 days to act on the application. So that gives us to the April 15th meeting. Okay, so we've just decided it's significant activity. So at this point, we need to schedule the hearing. Now, the only concern I have with that hearing at this point, and maybe we need to hear from the applicant, is with regards to the vernal pool. I know there has been some discussion in here about going back and reviewing this vernal pool again during the spring. So we could have, chatting with Lance, we can have this public hearing as early as April 15th. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if there would be any kind of report available to the commission on that vernal pool status. So maybe we can, maybe you could ask the applicant to talk a little bit on that and see what they feel for a timing wise would be a great time to maybe try to push this off. And I know it is all decided on the weather at this point.
Yeah.
So it could stay cold for a few more weeks and it's just going to push everything ahead.
Is the 65 days from tonight?
No, 65 days was from the time that you accepted the application.
Okay.
Right. So we do have another 65 days in the extension to play with. So we can fool around with that.
Okay. All right, so to the applicant, when would you think, based on trying to prove the conditions of the site, lining up with your findings, do you think it would be better to wait till after April 15th, or?
I have a question, maybe for you, Bruce.
Okay.
When we have the public hearing, I mean, if we were to, if the weather conditions were right and Bill Kenny could get out there to evaluate and, create a report by the 15th, what's the expectation on the 15th once we open the public hearings? Is it generally, you're going to present, have a public hearing, you're going to be, you're going to hear, can you walk me through that and say, okay, this is a 1 night, a 2 night, as long as it takes type of process?
I would say 3. I mean, it's going to the application will the chair will open the public hearing, right? And then you guys will give the same presentation that you more or less gave earlier. Again, either the same plans or if you guys want to modify the plans based on the comments here. And then from there it goes to public comment. So if there is a lot of public comment involved and it gets pretty long, then we may need to stack this out over a couple of meetings.
So if I could make a suggestion that we, schedule the public hearing for the 15th, weather permitting, Bill will do his work and get a report. If it's not complete by the 15th, it should be complete probably by the next meeting, at the end of April or early May, right? We could submit that as additional information. Is that acceptable to the committee?
The hearing, as long as the hearing stays open, they can accept more. They could accept additional information. So, but I'm going to lean on your professionals at this point. I think they have a little more experience. And again, I know it's all weather dependent, but maybe they can offer some kind of timing issue. See what they feel.
Right. There's a chance we might we'll have some information by the 15th. I think we're going to need extra time to get a full set of information that we'll need, but probably need until beginning of May.
All right, so let me get my calendar here. So that would take us to April 15th. We'd probably be looking at the next meeting would be May 6th, would be the one after that. You think that's enough time?
Yes, I think it's good to shoot for that if something were to come up or if conditions change with the weather. But I think that's a good date to work with right now.
I just want to make sure we don't get caught in a quandary where we're actually running out of time. All right. And then we have to make a decision at some point. And if we don't have the full information, we may have to deny the application with that, because we don't have enough information. So you'll then have to reapply and start the whole process over again. So I just want to make sure we're not cutting this too short. Okay?
Bruce, are you suggesting that on the 15th, reschedule start the public here, or schedule it to start on the May 5th? So it doesn't start on the April 15th? Is that?
I don't know. I'm asking you guys. I mean, if you think you'll have some information, we can definitely open it up on the 15th, get the presentation started, and hopefully have some information for the meeting after that. What I just say that was.
I think it probably makes sense to open it on the 15th because that'll give us a chance. It's a pretty extensive presentation, and give the group and that's a Zoom meeting as well.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so so then depending on who shows up, we're gonna but I think it's a pretty extensive presentation. Then provided Bill can do his work, but it's going to be more than one meeting, I'm assuming, right? So then something else might come up in that April 15th meeting, which will give us a little bit of time to either modify or change things in the plan for the second meeting, if that makes sense. And it'll give us 2 weeks less time to worry about the deadline.
Well, let me just ask, so if they were agreeable to extension, would would we need to know that by the 15th?
Yeah, well, what's going to happen is, if we use this 65 days and we get the hearing opened by the 15th, all right, that'll give us 65 days, 35 days to complete the hearing. So we have 35 days to complete the hearing. So that'll get me to, let's just say that's get me to the middle of May. So that may be just enough time, like I said, and that's not even burning up any of the extensions at that point. All right. So I think we should be good if we do that. If we want to do the 15th, there's going to be a thing, and Taylor knows it's a I don't want to say it's a tight timetable, but you'll have to get your notices out to all the certifieds out to everybody. We'll have to get the signs out. We're probably going to want to. I'd like to do 2 signs, one on Finneman and one on Slater. All right.
Yeah.
So we have both of those covered. So I'll leave that to you guys at this point. All right. If you guys want to schedule for the 15th, we can do that. So we can vote to schedule the public hearing for April 15th.
Okay.
And they would have to agree to extending the meeting because if we accepted the application on February 18th and we have 65 days,
Yep.
then that takes us to the
April 15th
meeting.
Yeah, it's a little bit after, but you have to back it out to when the next available meeting is. So that's when it comes out to the 15th. So so you guys have to act on this, which you're doing at this point prior to that 15th. So starting from this date, now we have 35 days. We have 65 days to commence the public hearing, and then we have 35 days to complete any hearing. So we're good at this point.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So that's it for this one, right?
Well,
yeah. I need a vote. No, I need a vote to schedule the public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. So, Chair will entertain a motion to have the public hearing for this application on April 15th.
So moved.
And a second, please.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion made and second for April 15th, public hearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
we will see you on the 15th.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye now.
Next item on the agenda, 598 Plainville Avenue, JBS Developers, the applicant present.
Yes, for the record, this is Brian Panico with Cole Civil and Survey, here on behalf of JBS Developers LLC. So this is 598 Plainville Avenue. Currently, what Bruce is kind enough to pull up on the screen for us, this is kind of an existing conditions site overview, as you'll remember from our previous presentation, as well as some of the stuff here some of the commission members may remember from the site walk. So thank you, Bruce. Our development plan was for 18 unit 55 and older development. And again, we had presented this previously. We did not move forward with the original application as we found there were some additional wetlands on the site. We then redesigned the site and are still kind of in the process of working through some redesigns based on conversation with staff, conversation with the commission at the last meeting, conversation during the site walk, specifically changing the size of unit number one, changing some of the grading, the detention basins, and everything, and the overall impact kind of things on the site. Bruce, I don't know if you have it handy, the site walk presentation that we had.
Yes, I do. Give me a second here. Sidewalk. Go on.
Just because that kind of set of handouts that we
Which one
had.
you want? This one down here, the third one?
No, the one from the site walk that we did that showed that unit number one modified. I don't know if that was
Oh,
in
that.
there.
No, that's all I had. Is this this right here?
Yeah,
That thing?
yep.
Yeah, that. Okay,
Yep.
that. Sorry. Yep.
Thank you, Bruce. So you could see in this sketch that we had put together for the site walk there, the two X's where we say rear corner, that was the original kind of footprint we had for the box for house number one, and then we had since moved that back quite a ways. So now even the deck on unit number one isn't projecting closer to the wetlands. Also on this iteration, you'll see kind of those black boxes throughout the site. That's the underground infiltration systems we have. Each of three units will connect to that, so we're infiltrating water more evenly throughout the site. So 16, 17, and 18 would go into one of those. 13, 14, and 15 would go into another one of those. And then units 5, 6, and 7 would go into another one. The lots 1 through 4, the soils in that area aren't great as they're closest to the wetlands. Groundwater table is a little bit higher. Infiltration's not really ideal. The detention basin is sized to handle the roof runoff for those specific units, as well as some of the units as you get closer to the detention basin, just simply because of the proximity to the detention basin, we would effectively be infiltrating water directly uphill of the detention basin. The modification we've made to the detention basin effectively takes the bottom of the basin from being a smaller area and actually basically raising the bottom of the detention basin. So it's about a foot and a half higher or so than the initial design, meaning that more area of the bottom of the basin is flat, which will provide a much more even infiltration of water throughout that whole area, directly uphill and adjacent to the wetland area. In doing that, we're kind of providing that groundwater recharge and letting that and providing it extra water quality to the site overall. So I don't we haven't changed too much. That was basically the extent of the changes we made since that initial meeting and since into the site walk. And we're currently still working with staff to kind of address some other comments and stuff. We did raise elevations of houses and certain things like that, eliminate sump pumps. Footing drainage has been redesigned and reworked, but wholesale revisions to the site is based on staff comments haven't been done. by any means. We were kind of waiting for a little bit of additional feedback. I know there were concerns about, for example, unit number 9. So we did a little bit of regrading in that detention basin area, gave them a little more backyard, put a fence behind that unit, as that was a concern. But I don't know if the commission has any other questions or concerns at this point, or other things they would like to see maybe modified or potentially modified.
Um, I, I, re- I wasn't able to go Sunday, but I did get a good feeling for the land, at the last, site visit we had here. I do feel that, you made some positive adjustments. Um, but I don't have any specific questions at this time. I'll ask the commission. Andre, do you have any questions?
I was not able to attend the site walk recently, but I did go to the first one, like you, Ned, and I do not have any questions. I do appreciate the fact, though, that you are listening and making modifications in accordance with the things that do come up from either the town planner or from us.
And I will say that being at both the initial site walk and this site walk, the site has not dramatically changed, and I think everyone would more or less agree with that. Um, so
Yeah. Dave Fox?
I don't have any questions, and I would agree that making progress on making this a better project.
Okay. Uh, Dan Popovic,
I do not have any questions currently.
Mark Simpson,
No questions.
thank you. Ilana Carveth,
I don't have any further questions, but I do commend the applicant for making changes along with, addressing the building 1 issue that was brought up in the initial meeting.
thank you. Frank Roth,
No comments at this time, Mr. Chairman.
okay. Bruce, are you, from what I hear, is there, you're still kind of working on with them on this. Should we hold off on a vote until you've gotten more the information you're looking for, or?
Yes, definitely, because we've had some initial comments from the original submission, and you'll see in the agenda review, that was what we discussed about raising the houses. They're in the process. They did a rough draft. We have this plan more or less on our desk now. I've got to go through it, make some comments on it, get it back to them, and then they're gonna complete and do a revised set for us to do a full review. So at this point, we're not ready for a vote. The only thing I would ask from you guys is whether you determine if this is if this is a significant activity or not.
Hmm. Um.
We
It's,
can't wait. You don't have to do it now. Like I said,
yeah.
as we get the plan further along, you could then make that determination at that point if you want.
I will, if you don't mind me chiming, I will say that overall, and Bruce, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but overall, I think that most of our changes at this point are very much just elevation related. So whether or not the basement of a house is at elevation, say 100 or elevation 102 based on groundwater, the overall layout, the overall area of disturbance, the number of units, none of those things would change. So if the commission feels as though it's significant for those reasons, now I believe that the commission would probably continue to feel it would be significant, at the next meeting when we've made these revisions. We would also just like to point out and further reinstate the fact that the only 2 units that are not in disturbed area at the present moment on this plan are units 9 and 10. and then the detention basin. The entire remaining portion of the site from where Bruce is pointing out right now, all the way back to Plainville Avenue, is basically entirely disturbed already. So even though it is very much all in the upland review area for the most part, and even some wetland on the property, even that wetland area has clearly been disturbed by the farming operation over time. Um, but that would be the only other thing we would add to that.
Okay. Um, let's pull the, let's pull the, I personally don't think it's significant. But I also would like to see how the plans progress. Let me pull the committee. Andre?
Knowing that the plans are going to be modified, I do feel like I would like to see the final product before making a determination on significance. I do
Okay.
understand that it is like the basements and stuff, and it is maybe just a gradient change of like 2 feet or whatever the case is, but I feel like it's semi not in good faith, at least prospectively, if I just don't see the final product before making a determination.
Okay. Dave Fox?
Um, it's kind of hard to judge the significance of this one. As indicated, a lot of it's disturbed area. They've done a great job in changing what we first saw a year ago or whatever it was. But I'm not sure that we've said that many subdivisions were not significant. So
Yeah.
I'm wavering on my decision there.
All right. Dan?
I agree. I think the changes are good, but I might agree with Andre that finalized plans would be appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Mark Simpson?
I think everyone's thinking is probably being cautious, and that's a good idea. But I would say from some of the projects we've seen, I would say if something doesn't change dramatically, I would say I would be leaning towards non-significant significant in this project.
Okay. Elena?
I would also like to see a final product before I make a determination on significance.
Okay. Frank?
I agree. I would postpone. I'd see the final
Okay.
product before I make a decision.
All right. We're gonna wait, based on the feelings of the commission, we're gonna wait, on the significance vote. Um, I mean, it's a good sized development. It's uh, a significant change to land. So I don't know, maybe I'm talking myself and thinking maybe it is significant, but I think it's a good point to say, let's see what the final plans are. And then we could decide at that point.
All right.
Okay. Does anybody else have any plans for the applicant or Bruce? Any questions? I say plans, like any questions? Okay. All right, so then we'll table this till the next meeting and hopefully we'll have the closer set of plans and we can,
Yes, we'll continue to work with staff and get a full revised set of plans out. Thank you so much for your time.
very good. Thank you very much. All right. Ryan Murphy, 373 Collinsville Road.
Yes, I am here.
Give me a second. Let me load this up. I can't have,
Sure.
I can't have too much open. This computer likes to crash on me. All right, three. Here we go. Let's just use this one here. I'll open up the other one too. Open up the. Use this one. All right. I think we got enough here.
Well, all right. Yes, my name is Ryan Murphy. I'm the owner of 373 Collinsville Road in Unionville. This application is for the installation of a replacement deck on the south side of the home. The deck is a 26.5 by 12.5 foot deck. And the property is surrounded by YMCA Metro Hartford property. There's a large hill behind the property that results in two large intermittent water courses that flow around the north and southern portion of the property. Historically, during significant rain events, there is a significant amount of water flows off the hill, causing issues along Collinsville Road. The deck is approximately 350 square feet bigger than the old deck, and the new deck was installed with concrete sonotubes. There have been no changes made since the last meeting, and I will open it up to any further questions in regard to the deck.
Bruce, have you been back out to the property or?
I was out there after the last meeting, and there was still snow on the ground at that point. But they were doing some work on a septic tank out front. Or not they were, but I think they finished a replacement of a septic tank out front.
Okay. All right. Well, we did vote that this was not significant and that we did not require a site walk, so I will poll the committee if there are any other questions that they have of the applicant. Andre,
I do not have any questions at this point.
Dave Fox,
No questions.
Dan,
No questions.
Mark,
No questions.
Ilana,
No questions.
and Frank.
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I don't have any questions either. It's been pretty straightforward at what was done. So I will accept a motion to approve the application.
So move, Mark.
And a second, please.
Seconded, Dan.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve the application. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Enjoy your deck. All right, Town of Farmington Recreation Department, 20 Wolf Pit Road.
Give me 1 second.
Bruce, you're up.
No,
You're
not
up.
me.
Hey, it's a batting cage.
God, it's been a long time since I've been in a batting cage. Give me a second here. Let me get over here, and I just got to load the application. As I said, I can't load them all in at once. Where am I here? I'm driving. Just close your eyes. I'll get there. All right, turn that off.
Maybe they should buy you a better computer when you're moving you into the new building.
No, you know what it is? Some of these presentations are like 30, 40 meg. So you could have, I could have a couple hundred meg lined up in here, and that's when it just goes into a meltdown phase, you know?
Yeah.
Smaller applications like this are fine. Application, we're gonna load this up. Yeah. Open. What else we want to open? New map. And then the photos, and you should be good. All right, Jesse, it's all yours. Sorry about that.
No worries. Good evening. My name is Jessie Catano. I work for the Farmington Recreation Department. Thank you for your time this evening. We are proposing the addition of a batting cage at IAR um, school in the outfields. This is kind of the only location that works on the site. I did walk the site with Bruce. We did meet with the schools as well to ensure that they're in support of this. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but the JV baseball team is now practicing on this site, and as well as Little League is requesting this improvement to the site. So I'm here before you tonight to discuss it.
Thank you, Jesse. Bruce, can you bring up that map? I'm kind of curious because I used to coach Little League here, and didn't they used to have a field on the other end too, didn't they?
Where,
Yeah.
There is still a
Where's the park?
softball field
Oh,
over
there
in
is
that
still.
corner.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
And it's actually going by the pathway, like
I know,
Correct.
yeah, right there. Okay.
Here's the photos right here. We went out there. So it's right in this area somewhere, approximately.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how far down do they excavate just for the to put down the stone material or the
But not going to be more than 6 inches, I'm thinking. It's just a stone dust
okay.
bed. That's what you're putting on under there.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
I'll open up the other one here. Here's some pictures of what they would look like. Oh. That's it. Yeah, that's all they had. But it's the nylon net with the
Yeah.
tubes arched around with just a stone dust bottom here.
Yeah.
So this is
We have
already
them in
stone
other
dust
areas in
here.
town.
Yeah, this is already stone dust in here. This walkway is our trail, whatever, our track is stone dust.
Mhm.
So doesn't seem to be that much of a concern, I would think.
Is that puddling just from like snowmelt, or is that a wet area in general?
No, it's a snow melt. If you look, this was what did I say this was, Jesse? This was a week ago. So this was right after that warm weather that we had. So this was the big initial melt, and then I think it rained the night before. So that's kind of why it was still wet out there. And this is, yes, it is, and a part of it is a natural low spot. It looks like that's why this is ponding. If you come back to here, it does look like a little bit of a low spot in here. So it is just collecting water, but it is stone dust. Stone dust is hard packed. It doesn't drain as well as lawn does, so it will hold some water for a little while before it perks through.
Okay. I don't have any questions on this. We'll go through the commission. Andre?
I do not have any questions.
Okay, Dave Fox?
I was just wondering, where are the wetlands and how far away is that?
I think we've all assumed that based on, go back to here. If I turn on the wetlands, if I turn on the state and federal wetlands, it is all on the outside within the wooded area. And I think we acknowledge that because when you go to the photos, you can see the outlet pipe. Let me go back to the photos here. So this outlet pipe right here drains from the parking lot and the fields. It comes into this area here. And when you walk along here, it is definitely within 100. It is definitely, I would consider it a wetland, because it is all very large wet area.
But the
Okay.
construction is completely in the grassy area.
Yeah, right here,
There's no
right where I got the tape measure up in here. So it'll be
Okay.
up in this area here.
No additional clearing required.
No, just lawn disturbance.
Okay. Anything else, Dave?
Oh, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Dan Popovic,
No questions, thank you.
Mark,
Um, I've seen these type of structures down by the Little League fields where I used to live. There was never a problem down there with them, and they're close proximity to the Farmington River. So, my experience, I don't see this as being a hazard at all.
Yeah. Okay. Elena,
I have no further questions.
Frank?
Is that a permanent structure or is that temporary? They bring it in during the winter?
No, it's permanent. The poles,
Okay.
the nets will come down for the winter.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. I would entertain a motion to accept the application.
So moved.
Second, Mark. Second, Mark.
Motion is made and seconded to accept the application. All those in favor say aye.
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 Right.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion to accept the application passes. It's a pretty straightforward project on the grass area, so I don't see a need for a site walk. Is anybody else? Anybody speak like a site walk here? Okay, hearing none. Chair will entertain a motion that we do not need a site walk.
So moved by Dave.
Okay, and a second, please.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded that there's no site walk required. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. And I think since we're not going to have site walk, we could vote on significance right now. It's a pretty minor project. It's just some poles. I don't see how this could be a significant project. Anybody else have a comment on that? Okay. Chair will entertain a motion that on significance that this is not a significant project. Anyone?
So moved by Dave.
All right. And a second?
Second, Mark.
All right, motion been made. This is not significant. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Is this you're gonna use erosion control like straw wattle during the construction process?
Yeah, we'll have them put some straw wattle, silt fence or something right along through here, okay?
And what is the permanent border that keeps the stone dust out of the grass? Is it
Jesse, because I know like this one, I think is an artificial turf surface in this
Yeah.
picture. So that's why it's a concrete curb. I don't envision they're doing an actual hard curb on this.
okay?
It may just be an excavate and just put some stone dust. Jesse, do you have any
Correct.
thoughts on
That's
that?
my understanding of it. The only other, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if it was going to have a hard curb or not. All right. Okay. And they'll be using the straw wattle. Any other questions? Okay, so we could vote on this next meeting.
Or the next meeting, sorry. Yep.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Good
Thank you,
job,
Jesse.
Jesse.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, old business. Bruce.
Cease and desist. The owner has not been having any luck with getting someone on board. So I've kind of jumped in trying to help out. So we're still working on it. I've got a few more phone calls I got to make and see if I can get someone connected with them to do some work.
Okay.
All right.
Um, any planners report?
None.
Hey, do they have a date for the that recycling and hazardous materials, or is that
Yes,
going conservation?
Garrett told me. Do you have the date? Do you have that date? Yeah. Hold on one second. I think I have it here. April 25th.
Okay. I'm thinking now that was probably conservation question, but whatever. Okay.
That's fine now.
Yeah. And it's gonna be pretty much the same. It's is each every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. I'll shoot once there's a flyer that they're putting together. As soon as I get that, I'll send that out to everybody.
Okay. All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 4th and then Wetlands Commission meeting.
So moved, Mark.
Very good. And a second, please.
Dave seconds.
All right, motion made and seconded to accept the minutes of March 4th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bruce, do we have to accept the minutes from the
Yep.
sidewalks?
Yeah. You know what? They're not on the agenda because it was after, but you know what? We'll just wait and do them.
Wait,
Next
okay,
meeting. Yep.
all right. Any other comments or from the commission? Okay, we will adjourn the Inland Wetlands Commission meeting at 8:25. Thank you. And we can start. The Conservation Commission at 8:26. Call the meeting in order. Any new business? Bruce?
None.
None. Planners report?
None. You know what? We'll just just like you said, we'll just put it in there in the minutes that the household hazardous waste is April 25th.
Oh, yeah, okay, good idea.
I do have a question as a member of the Conservation Commission. So I do know that in our purview is natural resource inventories, and I know that with the new conservation and development plan that is starting to be worked on and will eventually be published, I was thinking that considering the natural resource inventory for the town is currently over 20 years old or nearly 20 years old, and I wanted to suggest that maybe we consider getting a more updated natural resource inventory.
All right. That I don't know if we would do that with I'm not sure if we would do that with the plan of development. The last one we had, I think what we'd have to do is, I think due to the cost, it definitely would have to be rolled into a budget item. I think that's gonna, or a capital improvement plan. So let me do a little bit of research on that. All right.
Okay, thank you.
For people like me, can you explain that a little bit? What is the National Resource Inventory? Natural resource and it's just what kind of information are they gathering?
Well, so our town currently does have one. It's from 2007, and it most conservation commissions in town will do one where it's an inventory of all conserved land, but also all of the natural habitats that occur within land, so or within the town limits. So it will be an inventory of the woodlands, habitats of conservation concern or wildlife of conservation concern. It's usually done by like experts or foresters. And like the one for the town, I believe, is on the Planning and Zoning Commission page, but it falls within the purview of conservation commissions for the state of Connecticut to do natural resource inventories for conserved areas in the town.
So that's,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
that's usually done by like one of the consultants that have wetland scientists and other people like that, or
Yes.
Yes.
we hire them.
Yeah, we have, like I said, we keep all of the data. Our GIS data is up to date in terms of parcels, easements, conservation easements, open space, who owns the open space. So we have all of that information. I guess the only question would be, that's easy to get. That's something that we would do. I guess the only question would be is how much has that habitat changed? Where, I guess we'd have to sit down and figure out and understand what we feel it has changed, and if so, does it constitute going out for that cost for a full report?
Well,
So,
I think that would be valuable information to have. I think a lot has changed in the last 20 years, and even the conservation and development plan from 2018 at that time had already indicated that there was like less than 5% open land in the town. And so I think having some figures on how much the lands and habitats have changed or been lost would be valuable.
okay. What I can do is a portion of the report is on the website. Okay. What I can do is let me do this. Let me get that stuff uploaded again, because there's a portion of it. Then I'll put the rest together, and then I'll send out links for everyone so you can go through it. It's probably about it's a really large report. I'll just be honest with you. It's not something that you're gonna read in a weekend. Okay. So it's full of it's a very large 3-ring binder that we have.
I just went online. There's an environmental executive summary that's 44 pages.
Yeah, exactly. And that's only part of it. That's only part of it. So there's a lot more,
Okay. Yeah. So fine. Yeah. If you could look into it and report back, please, Bruce.
I will.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Chair entertain a motion, approve the minutes of March 4th.
So moved by Dave.
And a second, please.
Second, Dan.
Okay, very good. Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes, the March 4th Conservation Commission. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. And any other questions? Anybody else have any questions or input?
Did we do something on the sidewalk?
What's that?
Did we vote on the sidewalk? I wasn't paying attention enough. Do we have to vote on that?
For which one?
The sidewalk.
Oh, for the minutes, you mean?
Yeah.
No. Like I said, we didn't. The agenda was put out before. I mean, technically, you guys can vote to add it on the agenda, but I don't think it's not a concern,
Okay.
because the agenda got sent out before the site walk was actually performed. So now that it is, I usually throw them on the next one, the next after. All right.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Thank you. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you,
Take care.
sir.